Welcome to the Joy of Cruising podcast with your host, award-winning author Paul C. Thornton, a weekly conversation with the amazing cruisers featured in the Joy of Cruising Trilogy, comprised of The Joy of Cruising, Cruising Interrupted, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again. Each book is a compilation of features about cruisers and cruise and travel personalities from around the world. It's the next best thing to cruising, hearing about cruising from the unique and diverse perspectives of Paul's amazing guests.
Hello, passionate cruisers. This is Paul, and I am delighted to welcome this week on the Joy of Cruising podcast Gavin and Luke, creators of the UK-based cruise blog and YouTube channel, Cruise Monkeys. Let me set the stage by pointing out the Wave Awards is the UK cruise industry's premier award. Included are award categories for cruise lines, ships, travel agencies, and most pertinent to today's The Joy of Cruising podcast, favorite cruise blogger. As you are aware, I greatly appreciate cruise bloggers and vloggers and have written about them extensively. In the books, I call them cruise community champions. Several of the cruise personalities I have featured in the Joy of Cruising Trilogy, as well as the Joy of Cruising podcast, are previous Wave Award winners and finalists. This year's award ceremony will be held in London in November. Most of the 2023 favorite cruise blogger finalists had been featured in the books and or on the podcast. Cruise Monkeys has not, and I thought this was a great opportunity to get to know Gavin and Luke and to share another couple of passionate cruisers' stories with the cruise community. Gavin and Luke have been at this for quite some time. After their first cruise in 2014, the cruise was on P&O Aurora, and as with most first-time cruisers, they fell in love with cruising. Gavin and Luke started uploading their cruise holidays to YouTube in 2014 and launched the blog, initially called Holidays at Sea, in 2017, and rebranded it to Cruise Monkeys in 2021. Their tagline is Bananas About Cruising. Cruise Monkeys are well known for their P&O and Cunard cruises and have sailed the entire fleet. However, they sail a wide variety of lines, and I look forward to getting their reflections about a couple of ships I've also experienced, as well as one I will be boarding in a few months. They have a casual style of wandering around the ship, taking in the atmosphere, and as they point out, working our way through the cocktails. In fact, they are rather unabashed in noting their appreciation of wine and cocktails. As they say, we tend to always favor inside cabins. This is so that we can spend money on more cruises and a drinks package. And if you've seen our vlogs, you will know we like a cocktail or two. We love to bring you along with us. We love our wines, so often end the night tipsy, but don't hide this as we want to show the real us. Welcome, Gavin and Luke, to the Joy of Cruising podcast.
Hello.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
So it's great to finally meet you digitally. How you both doing?
Yeah, we're doing great, thank you. Yeah,
No, we're good, thanks. We're good.
So
enjoying the holiday.
So before we discuss Cruise Monkeys, tell our listeners about yourselves. Where you're each from, where do you live, what's your background, how'd you meet, anything you would like to share.
Okay, so I'm Luke, and obviously this is Gavin.
Yeah, I'm Gavin.
We live in Pembrokeshire in West Wales in the United Kingdom. Basically, I've grown up south of the county. You've grown up in the north.
Yep.
And we met in 2011.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think then.
So my background is I've been working in retail, various roles, some management roles over the years, and now I'm a full-time YouTuber.
Yeah,
and yourself?
And I work in IT, so I'm the geeky one of the couple.
All right.
And yeah, I'm still full time. So it's to me, I just enjoy it. I let Luke do all the hard work.
So let's talk about your cruising background. What motivated you to try your first cruise on, I believe, P&O Aurora in 2014?
Yeah, that's right. So, in a nutshell, Titanic. To be honest, growing up, I've always been really interested in things like Titanic, and I sort of fell in love with the whole idea of the romance of being at sea and walking the decks and being out in the open and loving all things ship. So that's where it started from. I'd never actually managed to book a cruise. I was quite apprehensive at first. And on our first cruise, we were due to go with my nan.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. So me and Gavin did end up going on our own. But we fell in love with cruising straight away.
We had no idea what to expect for that first cruise. But we were quite fortunate. One of our friends worked in the shops on board.
Yeah.
So we were asking, what's a black tie night? What does it all mean and stuff?
Yeah, we had no idea.
So we were super nervous. And at the time, there wasn't much information out there. I think the only person we were really watching then was Tips for Travellers, Gary Bembridge. So yeah, we couldn't find much information about it. No. So we were quite lucky. We had a friend on board who kind of held our hand and guided us through it.
So you said Gary was on the cruise?
No. We were watching his videos.
Okay. Yeah. Gary's going to be on the Joy of Cruising podcast in a couple of months, and I wrote about him in one of the books. So you're like that 9 out of 10. These are my numbers, based on anecdotal evidence, but part of that 9 out of 10 who fell in love with cruising on your very first time.
Yeah,
we sure did.
Was there one particular thing that stood out, or was the whole experience just great?
We fell in love with the whole experience, to be honest. It was just the whole, you unpack once, you're on that ship, and then every day you're somewhere different. And I love waking up in the morning in a completely different environment to the day before. I just think it's really exhilarating, interesting, and you've got everything you need at your fingertips. You've got great nightlife, great entertainment. Food is pretty consistently good across all companies, really, all cruise lines. So yeah,
it was just so easy, wasn't it? It was just an easy experience, and that's why we keep going back to it. Really.
How soon did you cruise again?
It was about 3 months later.
Yeah, it wasn't too
wow.
Yeah.
You didn't waste any time.
No. I think once we'd done that first one, it was such a we were just completely blown away. And then I went straight for one of my bucket list ships, which was Queen Mary 2. I've always wanted to go on Queen Mary 2. So as soon as we come off Aurora, I think me and my friend decided to go. You were in work, and by the time you come home, we were going on Queen Mary 2, and we went on that in December. So we'd come off Aurora, I think October, and this was in December. So it was 2 months.
And I was like a Christmas cruise, so the whole ship was done up for Christmas and things. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Cunard is a line that's on my bucket list. My only concern is I hear you got to dress up all the time. You guys got used to that pretty quickly?
We didn't mind. We don't mind. It's one of those things. They say you have to dress up. They have their formal nights, as other cruise lines do, which are all, your black tie. They're sort of casual. They're quite happy for you to have like an open collar shirt and a jacket, which I'm quite happy to do. I always think dressing up.
They make or people think it's more dressed up than it actually is. But I suppose it depends. I don't have to wear a shirt and tie because I work from home, so for me to wear a shirt and tie or wear a nice jacket is something special. But I suppose if you're doing it all the time in your day job, maybe you wouldn't really want to then go on the cruise because it wouldn't be as relaxing. But yes, it's one of those things.
But then I think it's one of those things as well. If you're not dressed up and you go out and everyone else is dressed up around you, then you sort of feel out of place. So I think it's all about the environment they're trying to create, the atmosphere. And I think it works for them. If you know that's what to expect, then you're not really in for a shock here.
Yeah. I posted a photo yesterday. I was promoting someone coming up on an upcoming cruise, and I had a picture of me in a tux on this person's last cruise, and it looks so strange because since then I have never worn a tux on a cruise ship. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure that's a small thing. If I get the opportunity to go on Cunard, I will happily dress up. So, and as you said, it's not that much dressed up. So now you mentioned, this is a little bit off topic, but you mentioned Titanic.
Yeah.
So I was just interviewing. I think they're going to be on maybe a few weeks before you were on, but I was interviewing a couple. They went on a grand cruise, and it stopped in one of the places stopped was Stockholm, Sweden, and they were telling me about a ship that sank 350 years ago, and they brought it up in the 60s, and they built a museum around it. And I got to think, do you think that's something, can you ever imagine a Titanic being extricated from the ocean? Is it just too big, probably too decayed?
As you were just saying, I think it's too decayed, and I think a lot of people still sort of feel it's still quite raw. I mean, as you said, that other shipwreck was about 350 years ago. I think there's still a lot of people around that are still connected or have relatives who have told them stories, in person about the experience or relatives' experiences. And I think it's just a bit too raw. I think they'll leave it and leave those people. Myself, I think they'll leave them rest. I mean, they've took up the big piece, haven't they? But I think that's about as much as they could do. I think it would just dissolve if they did anything else.
Yeah. So you went on 2 cruise ships in the first several months. When did you start sharing your videos to the cruise community?
Okay, so what happened was, as we said, we were going on Aurora, and there wasn't a lot of things out there, and we were a bit lost. We needed information from our friend. As we said, we started watching Gary Bainbridge and his videos. He, at the time, was doing a lot of Cunard Queen Marie 2 videos, and of course, we then booked to go on Queen Marie 2. So as part of the excitement, and it still is this way for us now to this day, we still watch YouTube videos in anticipation of our cruise. We get all excited and we watch them. It's all part of the process for us. And I think that for us, that's where it started, or I decided, let's give it a go. Let's just make a video. I don't really know what I was thinking, what to expect, what I was trying to achieve from it. I just made a video on YouTube, and very quickly it became a way of reliving our own holiday memories. They became holiday videos for us. But then people started, when we started actually talking and all on camera, finding them more useful. And it's just one thing after another. It's just evolved into what it is today. But initially, they were all very, very self-indulgent, I'd say, pouty, posing. It was a bit all over but in fact, I'd go as far as saying on that first Queen Mary cruise, it was only a 3-night cruise, and I was so worried that people go, oh, they're only on a 3-night cruise. I thought it was quite posh. So we made the video look like it was a week. I put like shots from the day, shots at night, shots of the day, just sort of make it look like it was longer than it was. I would never do anything like that now, but that's how it started off for me. I was scared.
So I think that was straight after the cruise, because I had a look the other day, and I'm sure it was something like the 16th of December, I think our first video went up of 2014.
And we didn't even use copyright-free music. It was just all everything I wouldn't do now, I'd done then, basically.
You broke a lot of rules, but you persevered, and now you are a finalist for the Wave Awards. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. So then you pretty much immediately became vloggers. You branded yourself Holidays at Sea. In what was that, 2017?
Yeah, so we were on YouTube just sharing our videos as some kind of nameless kind of channel,
like
I suppose.
LKGP or something. I think our account was our initials. It was just a general account on YouTube, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then in 2017 we thought, well, we need to give ourselves a name. So we just I just plucked Holidays at Sea from the sky.
I think I was in work at the time, and I came home and he said, oh, I've named our channel Holidays at Sea. And I was like, oh, okay, and what's that all about? He said, well, I had to give us a name other than LKGP. It doesn't really say much about our channel. So he came up with this name, and I said, oh, it's not very, what was that? Not very creative. I said, but we just wrote it out, and that was the name we stuck that out for years. It was like that.
Yeah, we stuck that out until just after the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned it, so I have to ask. Pandemic. How'd you spend the time away from cruise ships?
Well, for us, we didn't want our channel to come away from cruising. We were pretty stuck in our ways that it was going to be cruising and nothing else really.
And to make cruise memories as well.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to go down the route of cruise news or anything like that.
No, we didn't want to do that. And we went on a little break down Southampton, which we did make one video about. We did like a recap of our whole year where we just told people what we got up to. So most of it was redecorating the house, gardening.
It was just, life as normal for me because I just worked from home. So
our channel did take a back seat during the pandemic.
Yeah.
We pretty much completely stopped. We were very lucky in that our last cruise before the pandemic was in the January, and it takes me about a vlog a week. So I had a good run into the pandemic of making videos. So we did keep going until probably about the April or May, I think it was, before we run out of content. And that was it.
That last cruise, that was Seaside, wasn't it? We did. So it kind of, by the time we came back,
it kicked off.
Yeah.
MSC Seaside?
Yeah.
Was that your first MSC ship?
No, it wasn't our first, probably about a third, I think.
So we first did MSC Preziosa, I think that was 2017.
Yeah.
Then we were on the maiden of MSC Bellissima, which was from Southampton down to Barcelona.
And then we booked Seaside.
And then we booked Seaside.
Okay. I have a particular interest in MSC because my next cruise is trying MSC for the first time.
Okay.
So Meraviglia.
Oh yeah, nice.
Or Meraviglia. I say it one day. I say it one way. Next day I say it the other way.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
We're the same. We're the same.
Just don't try spelling it.
No.
So, what you guys think about Seaside?
We absolutely love Seaside. And I like that class of ship. And I'm very interested in the Seascape because the criticisms that I would have said with Seaside, they seem to have rectified and improved Seascape. So I would be interested in trying that ship now, definitely. Mm-hmm. I also like the look of the World Europa. We're not yet travelled on that, but we'd like to give it a go. And obviously her sister ship is at World America.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get on one of them in the future. That would be on our radar, I'd have thought. So
what we really liked about Seaside was because the MSC cruises we done out of Southampton, they were a bit like a bus. So every port you went to, some people got off and more people got on.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice because you never have that final night where everybody's feeling a bit blue. People boarding every day.
Yeah.
But what we did quite like when we went out of Miami was everybody boarded in Miami, and that was the cruise. And it was a bit more normal to us.
And you get to know people and meet people on the ship then, and rather than them getting off, you're with them the whole journey, the whole cruise, which is nice.
We did find the service a bit better on MSC out of Miami as well than it was over here at the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was your first cruise after the lockdown?
So we were on the MSC Virtuosa, which was her maiden voyage and the very first ship to actually leave the UK at that time. It was the very first sailing for any ship from the UK, and that was the atmosphere on there was ecstatic.
I think there was 990 passengers or something on it. The maximum they could sail was 1,000. And I remember queuing up to go on board. Getting on board, and it was just amazing to actually finally be back on the ship. And then when we left Southampton, it was just so emotional.
Yeah.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Welcome to From the Library with Love, possibly the only podcast inspired by an underground wartime library. I'm Kate Thompson, historical fiction author. Come and join me every Saturday as I unearth the stories of ordinary people with extraordinary stories to share. Spend an hour in the company of 100-year-old Bletchley Park codebreaker Betty as she reveals her wartime secrets. Be moved by the courage of Auschwitz survivor Rini. Or why not join myself and New York Times bestselling author Madeline Martin as we talk clandestine book clubs and bodice rippers in the blackout. From the Library with Love, available wherever you get your podcasts.
I have interviewed many from UK, between my books and podcasts. I would say probably a third of the content is UK based or UK cruise personalities like yourself, and I know that many that I know were on one of the first couple of virtuoso sailings out of UK. Which of course took place well before the U.S. So I even knew some U.S. folks who went over there for that. Did you know a lot of, because it was a lot of your fellow bloggers and vloggers and influencers? I'm sure you knew quite a few.
We did, yeah.
There was quite a few. I think when we were queuing up with Ben and David were in the queue with us.
We saw Emma.
Emma Cruises was there.
Okay.
Yeah. There's quite a few of us, and because I think it was a set of four night cruises, might remember, or 3 4-night cruises. Yeah. So the ones who weren't on the first one were, those over the 3 4 cruises. There was a lot of bloggers on them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how did that feel being back on the water?
Well, initially, the whole time leading up to the cruise, we kept expecting to have that email or that message say it's been cancelled, it's not happening. Even when we were all, and a lot of us have said the same, even in the terminal, on board in the ship, we'd been through our tests and all, and for some reason we were all half expecting someone to say, sorry, it's not happening, the cruise isn't happening. But once we were on that ship, and I think once we'd actually said we were sailing out of Southampton, I just remember, I think it was Jean, wasn't it? The director said, this is it, everyone. What was it? What did he say? We are cruising. Or
we're
off.
Finally cruising again.
And at that point, then I think there was just this huge relief. It was like, wow, this is happening. This is real. And it didn't feel, the whole thing felt like some sort of weird dream. It's the thing we'd all been dreaming for months, years.
It was quite emotional. It was like spine tingling as well. When you're kind of walking along, you just see Southampton disappear, and it was like, finally.
I like that phrase, spine tickling. I cruised for the first time after the lockdown, almost a year after you guys, because we were trailing in the US, and I'm not gonna lie, that ship that I got on, I got on the Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas, was my first cruise back, and my eyes watered over. It was emotional, and just as you talk about the spine tingling, seeing Southampton disappear into the distance, I was the same way with Miami. I never loved Miami as much as I did that day. So approximately how many cruises have you gone on post-lockdown?
So post-lockdown, I think we've 15.
We think it's 15. So 15. Just after lockdown, a lot of the cruises, they were quite short cruises, and they were just cruises to nowhere. So over the summer, we did quite a few of them. I think it was 2 or 3 of them we did over the summer.
And then we were actually on the first cruise, the international cruise then from the UK, weren't we?
So Regal Princess was the first cruise that was allowed to leave the UK and dock in a foreign port.
Yeah.
So we happened to be on that one as well. That was quite nice. Even though it was only France, just across the river.
And it was a lot more complicated than we were used to as well. We had these what were they, like a passenger locator type forms? So we had to film in for every single port. We called it every different country. There was like a paper trail and a whole process, and it was very, very confusing. There was a lot of elderly people on there that were trying to use things like the Wi-Fi and the internet. So the entertainment team and all, to be fair to them, were going around the piazza and they were helping them. It was, but we did it. We had to do it, and we did it. And
that's one thing we won't miss: passenger located forms and masks.
No.
What was your most recent cruise?
So our most recent cruise was on Pinot Iona.
Yeah, so in July, we were on my 21st birthday.
Happy belated 21st.
Thank you very much. 21st for the 19th time, I think, was it?
Yeah.
Well, I've been stuck on 50 for quite some time, so...
But no, we did a lovely 7-night cruise up to Norway, to the Norwegian fjords. It was on Iona, which we did last year as well. Yeah. We wanted to go on the ship we'd been on, and we're really comfortable with nothing,
No surprises.
So just we enjoy it, and it was really good. I had a good birthday. The views were really good. Yeah. The weather wasn't the best, but
we made the most of it. Yeah, we made the most of it.
You get any good shots of the Northern Lights?
No, not at this time of year, unfortunately. We land in the midnight sun at the moment, or thereabouts, this time of year. Come now about October into winter, that's your Northern Lights then, which we haven't done yet, but we'd really
I
like
think they're
to
starting to see them now. I'm sure I've seen some posts of some cruises are starting to see Northern Lights at the moment.
Yeah, Norwegian Fjords is another on my bucket. I have a very active and evolving bucket list. When I talk to guys, like you, men and women like you, I get all kinds of ideas, and I've changed my bucket list on the fly. While I'm talking to someone, I'm writing down, I got to do that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, as a result of talking to cruise personalities like yourself, I now have on my bucket list, especially in UK, you guys have some railroad traditions, that luxury railroad rides that's now on my bucket list. If you had asked me that 5 years ago, I'd have said, what luxury railroad? I didn't know anything like that existed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you got the sleeper trains and stuff, haven't you?
Yeah. So you rebranded to Cruise Monkeys in 2021. What was behind the rebranding?
Well, I suppose, as we've said before, we took a break because of COVID, so our channel had stopped pretty much, and then we decided you call the channel Holidays at Sea, and what was happening was we were getting these emails of people asking if they could book holidays. How much would a certain holiday cost? What package could we make? Then we were getting emails about complaints and things, and who would be best to deal with. Are we like some sort of travel agent or cruise specialist because of how we were named, which I understand.
Okay, I see.
And then within that, then we sort of had, growing up, I always had a nickname. People used to say, "Oh, Lukey Monkey." In work, it was Lukey, then Lukey Monkey, and the nickname sort of somehow evolved into this. Let's be Cruise Monkeys.
I think it was kind of a fun take.
Yeah,
we don't take ourselves seriously.
No, we like to be all fun and lighthearted, as you said. Don't take it seriously. So yeah, we thought, well, let's go Cruise Monkeys. That sounds kind of fun. And then with that, then we said, oh, well, while we're doing this, then let's come up with some sort of logo. So I drew this like little cartoon picture of the monkeys and the life ring. We sent it off somewhere on Fiverr, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they created this nice logo for us. And we were like, no, I like this. It's Cruise Monkeys. This could work. So yeah, that's where that came into it. It was from a nickname and just us wanting to be fun.
I think we did that about just a month before the first cruise, before joining the first cruise. So I think it was April 2001. 2021.
And we're bananas for cruising.
Oh yeah.
So how's it going with Cruise Monkey? What have been some highlights? Well, I know being named to the Wave Awards shortlist is a highlight. Is that your first time?
No.
So we were on the shortlist last year as well.
Okay.
We've made because they do like 3 stages. So I think we've made it to like the semi-finals before now. But last year was the final, and this year is the final as well.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I think with the smallest ones there.
Yeah.
So what have been some highlights as Cruise Monkey? You've been named to Wave Awards shortlist twice in a row. What else?
Well, for us, I think we set up a Facebook group probably just shy of about 18 months ago. We decided, let's give it we created a community. And for us, that has been one of the biggest, most rewarding things we've done, is having that community of people. We seem to have subscribers who are extremely loyal to us, and we're really grateful for that. And we feel like we know them because we've been talking to some of these people for years now. And then leading on from the Facebook group, one of our biggest highlights was our first group cruise, which we did in April this year.
Yep.
That was, for me, one of the biggest highlights.
Oh, wow. How many did you take?
We ended up with, I think, just shy of about 140 people came.
Wow.
We went on Virtuosa, the ship that first sailed from the UK. We chose it because we knew it was fun. It was informal. It had a really good value drinks package, and it worked for a mini cruise. And yes, we'd like to do another one. We've been asked, we've been bombarded with people asking us, are we going to do another one? And we're definitely looking into it.
That's in the plans.
It is in the plans. But meeting all those people face to face, having that community there, it was just, for me, that's one of the best experiences ever.
It's really nice when you get a comment as well, like somebody's watched your video, booked a cruise because of it, and then you start panicking, and they come back and say, actually, I had a really good time. Yeah. It was my first cruise, maybe, and now we're going to book another one. And just there's nice comments and then that nice community feel. It's really nice.
Well, now you guys are among my role models, because there's a number of podcasters, cruise podcasters, who've done group cruises, and quite a few bloggers and vloggers and influencers have done a group cruise. So when the Joy of Cruising podcast does its first group cruise, I'll know that we've arrived.
Yeah. It's quite fun. It's a great way to reach out to your followers and stuff as well. It's really nice.
So you got another one in the plans, or just not yet? Okay.
We're going to announce it soon, very soon. We've got a few final bits and pieces to put together, but it's something is definitely in the pipeline.
So we've got a phone call in a few days' time, basically, to try and just iron everything out on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Prepping for this show, I've been checking out your videos. There's probably more, but I recall 2 ships you reviewed that I have fond memories of, Anthem of the Seas and Celebrity Beyond. So since I can easily picture those in my mind, and it will bring back some good memories, say something about your cruises on those.
Well, first off, the first one was the Anthem of the Seas, which we went on last September.
Yeah.
And that was our first Royal Caribbean cruise as well. And I really, really enjoyed it.
You loved it, didn't you?
I really enjoyed Anthem of the Seas. In fact, I was blown away by it. I just thought it had a bit of everything. It had really good food, a lot of atmosphere on board, a lot of fun things to do on board.
Staff were brilliant.
Staff were really good. And for me, I mean, I do like a pool or a hot tub, and I do like sort of an observation style deck. And the solarium at the front of the ship, for me, that was a huge, huge, huge highlight. I really enjoyed being there. I really also enjoyed.
I'm sorry. Is that the 270?
The one at the front, the top one, the solarium. The adult solarium,
okay.
The pool.
The solarium where no kids. Okay,
yeah, no kids. It's cool.
I love that.
I love that. Yeah.
And then I also love 270. Did you go there with the
yes, we did. Yes, with the robot.
And all? Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, I loved Anthem. I was like a little kid on there. I rode the bumper cars. My granddaughter was on, so that helped me become a little kid. In fact, I did the iFly.
That was good.
Did you do that? Okay.
Yeah, he did.
I did that one. It's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah.
Well, what was your excuse?
Me, I don't know what it is. I just didn't really fancy it.
At the time, you said somebody needed to film it. So
yeah, well, I had to film it. Yes, I had to vlog it for him, and I did that. I did go in the North Star though, which I did really, really like. I surprised myself because I'm not great with heights, but I did.
Yeah, I went in the North Star. In fact, of the photos, I'm grasping tightly, or I should say, my daughter is grasping tightly my hand. She's grown, but she's afraid of heights, and the whole way up, she was squeezing the heck out of my hand. But yeah, it was just so, as you say, it was so. I loved Anthem. As a matter of fact, we went on Anthem in 2018. And I took my extended family for Christmas, my 2 daughters and my son-in-law and 2 grandchildren. And it was really the researching of an appropriate cruise to choose for Christmas is where I got the idea to start writing books. and interviewing people, because in the process of research, I found myself more interested in cruisers and cruising stories than really what I set out to do, which was to research a ship. And I just said, I was already a writer. I said, I would love to bring some of these stories to the cruising community. And that's, so that cruise was very special. And then the other one we shared in common is very special. You went on Celebrity Beyond, and that was special because I went on that actually recently in October. We went on Beyond for our 35th anniversary. Oh, I hope my wife doesn't hear that. Our 30th anniversary, and Mediterranean cruise. That was. What did you think about Beyond?
So we did Beyond out of the Caribbean, out of Miami, to Fort Lauderdale. In January. The ship was really nice. It's like a proper Instagrammable ship. The food we found really good, but for some reason there was just the vibe didn't quite sit with us. I don't know whether it was just a bit too quiet, maybe for us.
But we enjoyed it. We had a really good time. It was our first. It was our first celebrity cruise as well. So our Anthem of the Seas was our first Royal Caribbean, and this was our first celebrity. We had a really good time. We enjoyed it. It was
it was. And you were in a pool doing your dancing and stuff.
Yes.
Not often you get involved in those activities, but you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no, it was good cruise and some nice ports on it as well. We really enjoyed it.
So what are you working on now at Cruise Monkeys? I know you said you're working on a group cruise, and it sounds like you've divulged as much as you can about that. What else you working on? Anything?
So at the moment, I'm currently editing and making the vlogs for our Iona cruise, which we've just come off, his birthday cruise. So I think I'm on to, this week now I'm working on episode 5. I've got 3 more of those to do. And then we have another cruise coming up shortly.
Yeah, so we're on our first Virgin cruise. So we're joining Valiant Lady in Barcelona. And that'll probably take us up until Christmas for content-wise,
thereabouts. And then we'll probably do a few Christmas house maybe videos. We like to do those. And we have a nice short cruise on Queen Victoria for not over Christmas, but just before Christmas.
So we're hitting Cunard. We haven't been on them
since the pandemic.
Yeah, since 2019.
Mm-hmm. So we're really looking forward to going back on Queen Victoria. That'll be nice.
I'm looking forward to when you do your Virgin vlogs, because I'm booked on Virgin, my first Virgin cruise in April. So it's also 2 firsts. It's my first Virgin cruise, and it's also my first transatlantic. Okay. So it starts in Miami and then ends in the Med. I can't remember where. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll probably watch your Virgin videos a couple of times each.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to that. Yeah. So it's something completely different, I think, as well.
Yeah, which is nice. It's nice sometimes to be bold and do a different cruise line and do something completely different, because it mixes it all up and it reinvigorates you, doesn't it?
That's it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So how can fans keep up with Cruise Monkeys on social media and the internet?
So we put all our vlogs up on YouTube, which is Cruise Monkeys.
Usually every Friday.
Yeah, so we try and aim for a new vlog every Friday. We're also on Instagram and Facebook as Cruise Monkeys UK. And we've also got the Facebook group then, which is Cruise Monkeys Bananas About Cruising. But yeah, we're normally most active on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yeah, I'll have to join your Facebook group, and you're welcome to join. I have a Joy of Cruising podcast Facebook group as well, so feel free to join us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the future. We've got some great ships coming out in 23 and 24. Any that you are most anxious to try?
Well, we are booked on one of them, but it's shortly going to be cancelled, unfortunately. So we have booked on Icon of the Seas. We're on the maiden or the inaugural voyage of that. Unfortunately, due to all the costs and stuff, we're just thinking of shelving that one, because 7 nights is also a bit too short to explore a ship of that size. I think there's going to be so much going on that ship. Having 7 nights is not going to be enough.
I read somewhere that a 7-night inside cabin is like close to $3,000.
See, we booked our cruise. It was basically as soon as it was available. Our agent booked it straight away. I think we were actually on our river cruise at the time. He did it while we were on that. And I think we managed to get ourselves an ocean view cabin for about £1,300.
Yeah, so I think it was £1,300 per person we paid for an ocean view.
Yeah. But since that,
so what's that approximately US?
Oh, I don't know.
1,600 possibly.
Oh, okay. Because I saw someone who paid for an inside cabin. It was a high 2000s.
Yeah, we've seen them since, and they have just gone up and up and up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we booked that as soon as we could, and then obviously we have to factor in, for us, we have to fly then from the UK to like Miami, it was Miami, wasn't it? We'd have to fly to Miami, and then we wouldn't fly and cruise on the same day because we've learned from experience it's just a bit too cutting it fine, so to speak. So we'd have to have a pre-cruise stay. Then we thought we'd go for the drinks package, which we definitely need. If people watch us, they'll know we do like our drinks.
So I think the drinks package is currently about $110 per person per day,
which is quite
which
is a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
No wonder you're going to postpone that one.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then we were thinking, then we want to do some specialty dining, then we want to do some excursions and things like that. And we thought this is just going up and up and up. And we started to think, oh no, we wanted to do it, we really did, but then, like you said, 7 nights wouldn't be enough.
No,
and then we wouldn't cover everything, and we wouldn't be able to afford it all.
So what we've done, we've kind of cut our losses on that. We've lost the deposit, which was probably something like $50. It wasn't too much.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to cancel that one out, and we've booked onto Sun Princess, not the maiden voyage. It's the following one. It's the following voyage. So we will be on Sun Princess then in February. So that's the one we're really looking forward to now.
And this one goes for 10 nights as well. So we've got the bonus of spending more time on the ship. And we also have some new ports.
Lots of new ports.
Yeah. And we're sitting in bed.
I heard you mention river cruise.
Yes.
That's on my bucket list. I'm actually booked, so I'll be checking that one off in August of 24. What river cruise did you... or what river cruises have you been on?
Okay, so we went on Avalon Waterways. We were very kindly invited by them to go on the Avalon Panorama.
Yep. It was a Rhine cruise from Amsterdam down to Basel.
Yeah, in Switzerland. Yes. Yeah.
And it was, when we went on it, we thought it might be quite quiet, not boring, but maybe, a bit too quiet. But it was amazing. We got on board and we were just busy all the time, weren't we? Off on the excursions, and it was really good.
It's a very, very big. You think, it's a small ship, it's on a river, it's going to be quiet. But like you said, there's so much going on. The nightlife, there isn't really like shows or anything like that in the evening as such. You have your port talk with your cruise director, you have your dinner. The dinner's kind of a big event. It's drawn out as part of the entertainment, I suppose, for the evening. And people do tend to go to bed relatively early versus a conventional cruise. But you need to go to bed early because the ship comes in early in the morning and the excursions go straight off, and it's just so immersive that with each destination, each port or town or city, that you're so busy. And we got talking to the active host, Valley, on our cruise, and he was like, "Oh, you have to do this. You have to come on this hike. You have to go on this bike ride." So we were flat out doing all these active excursions, weren't they?
Yeah, but you don't have to do the excursions. They were quite happy for you to stay on the boat or ship.
But we wanted to do it.
But
and I'm glad we did. Again, it's not something I'd normally do. You wouldn't catch me on a bike normally, but I went on a push bike. I hadn't been on one for years. I was amazed I could still do it. It was a lot harder than I remember, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. It was really good. We had some really good excursions. They were brilliant.
So it sounds like it was a very fulfilling experience.
It was, yeah.
You're going to go. You're going to go on another one.
I'd like to.
We'd love to do a Christmas markets one. So you end up in all the little European towns at Christmas time and go to the markets and things.
Right.
We would love to do another one. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm booked on AMA Waterways,
Okay.
So, speaking of, do you have one book? What do you have booked? I know you mentioned Virgin. What else?
Yeah, we have Virgin, then we have Queen Victoria. Then after Queen Victoria, then we have Sun Princess in next February. Then after Sun Princess, we're going back on P&O Aurora for a short 3-night cruise. We're actually meeting some friends who are from the US.
Yeah, so they're coming over.
They're actually doing a 16-night cruise on the ship, but we couldn't afford that amount of time. So we basically got in touch with one of our friends and said, you do realize there's a mini cruise before it? So we said we can join that one. So he's now extending his cruise. He's doing a back-to-back and we get to meet him. It's worked out perfectly.
Yeah. And then after that, we've got nothing officially booked.
No, except for the group cruise. Then.
Yeah, the group cruise will be coming later on in next year.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start planning towards the end of next year and ahead, because people are already planning their 2025 cruises. We haven't even finished 2024 cruises yet.
So I mentioned a couple of things on my bucket list. What's on your bucket list?
Ooh, I'd like to do a transatlantic for a westbound one from Southampton to New York. I'd like to retrace the Titanic route, I suppose. And I do love Queen Mary 2 a lot. And I'd love to be at sea, the openness, nothing around you, and just enjoying the ship for what it is, because Queen Mary is magnificent. So I'd like to do that. That's definitely one of our trips.
I think Hawaii and Alaska, they're on my lists as well. I think they're on everybody's lists over on this side.
I've actually beat you to something. My last cruise was about 2 months ago. It was, really a dream cruise, a bucket list cruise, because I was able to check off 2 items. So it was Hawaii to Alaska.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. 16 days. It was unbelievable. You know who was on that cruise? You mentioned them, Ben and David.
Yeah,
they were on that.
Okay,
cruise.
The same one with Steph. Yes, sure, Steph.
Yeah, Steph. I met Steph as well. So what else is on your bucket list?
I'd also like to go to Australia as well.
Yeah,
I'd love. I know. Paul and Carol. I think they've been on with you, haven't they?
Yes,
they did their Australia cruise. I'd love to do something like that as well. That'd be amazing.
Before we let you go, Gavin and Luke, a couple of fun questions, light questions, I guess I should say, and then perhaps a fun oddball question. So the first light question, and I always ask this because I get some great ideas. Just a quick anecdote. I mentioned that Hawaii, Alaska cruise. I was on that for 16 days. I had the drink package, of course, and I never ordered the same drink twice on a day. And that's because I wanted to try all of these drinks that I get from folks like you on this next question. So here's the question. What's your favorite cruise drink?
Okay.
And then what's your favorite cruise food?
Right. So my favorite, I think, cocktail so far, I really like the Sandy and Fuego on Princess from the Good Spirit.
What's it called?
Sandy and Fuego. It's like a watermelon,
a watermelon margarita, but it's got chili in it
and lava salt on the rim. They dip it.
Wow,
that's a nice one.
I wonder, is that something that's just unique to Princess? Because I want to try that.
Yeah. No, that was nice. They do.
I don't have Princess booked, for maybe 25.
Okay. But yeah, that was one of my favorite drinks. And then food, I'd say my favorite meal so far has been the Fine Cut Steakhouse on Celebrity Beyond. That has been the best meal I think I've ever had on a cruise ship. That is now my top spot.
And for me, I'd say the Gumbay Smash on Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
I quite like that one. And then food-wise is the Hola Tacos and Cantina on Virtuosa. So the MSC kind of Mexican-y style restaurant.
So I haven't tried either of the drinks that you mentioned, so that's going to be on my next cruise.
Good.
in terms of the food you mentioned, I did go to the steakhouse on Beyond. In fact, I think I told you we took that for our 30th anniversary, and so we told them in the steakhouse, and they brought us out a nice cake. So
Nice. Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
and then Hola, I'll get to try or Hola, how do you say it?
It's one of them.
Yeah, I'll get to try that on Christmas when we go on Meravilia.
Yeah, they do a lovely all you can eat.
Yeah.
It's worth doing.
Next question. What's your most memorable or funniest, most outlandish, or even most embarrassing cruise or port experience?
So I'll say one of our most. We'll go with an embarrassing one. I suppose there was this one time. I think it was on MSC.
Oh, it's more than once.
Ventura. Sorry, P&O Ventura, and we'd had a few to drink, and we went all the way down. At the end of the night, you're bumbling down the corridor. And we get to our room and we're there putting the key against the door. I'm going, the car's not working. Because you're worried it's demagnetized because it happens. And you're going, this
on the door, then trying to open the door
and drunk and you're falling all over the place. So then I goes, give me your card. So we're trying the card in and out. Nothing. All of a sudden, I looked up at the wall and I could see the room number and I just laughed. And you were going, what's so funny? And we're on the wrong deck. We're in the right room, but like literally about 2 or 3 decks different to where we should have been. I don't know what had happened. We must have just got out of the wrong level or something.
But we moved away from that room very quickly in case we'd woken up the
poor people in it must have. If I was in there, you'd have been petrified. But that was probably one of the most embarrassing and dope.
I'm sure we've done it a couple of times.
It could have been a lot worse.
Could have been.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're lucky a footballer was not in that room.
Yeah.
Whether we're talking about American football or UK football, you're lucky both ways.
Yeah.
Because that could have been a bad scene.
Yeah. That's probably it, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that's probably kind of embarrassing.
We've had a few, but I can't recall them all. No, we do like our drink, and
if anybody who's watched our vlogs will know, we do end the night quite tipsy sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
quite tipsy. Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
So, Luke, do you have one that's it doesn't have to be embarrassing? It could be memorable. It could be a moment that moved you to tears. But no,
it was quite.
Anything else?
I would say it was quite emotional going back on Aurora because we hadn't been on here for a few years.
I think actually we were crying.
Yeah, because I think it was. We'd been on Aurora as our first cruise, and we knew the Aurora. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She's about 2000. She was launched, so she's quite an old ship. And she's not the biggest. She's quite small now by today's standards. And we've been on all these newer ships, and we thought, we're going back on Aurora. Will we find her as amazing as we found her the first time? To the point where we were a bit apprehensive about booking to go back on it because we didn't want to tarnish that memory. But we went back on board that ship, and we were absolutely blown away. In fact, it was better than I remember. I really, really enjoyed it. And we were sat up in the crow's nest that evening. We were having a cocktail, looking out the window. And it was quite emotional for us. I don't know why.
Yeah, we just looked at each other and our eyes were just...
We hadn't even been drinking that much by that point, really.
So, yeah, you might see us crying sometimes on the cruise.
Anything to add, Gavin? That moment to hold on to?
You did like the sail into Venice, didn't you? Which you can't do anymore.
Yeah, no, that's probably something very special, which we were very fortunate to be able to do, was the sail into Venice. So we did that on Pinot Oceana.
Yeah.
Up early one morning, and we just glided into Venice, and that was quite special.
The sailing was brilliant.
Sailing.
Yeah. And they don't do that anymore,
no, I
right?
think
I don't believe so, no.
Because the damage, haven't they, to the lagoon, isn't it? There's damage buildings.
Well, fortunately, when I went on that Beyond cruise to the Med, before we went on the cruise, we actually stayed in Italy a week, and so we were in kind of the Florence area, a rural part, but kind of the Florence area, and they have a very very, very good train system there. So we did go to Venice and spend the day, but not on a cruise. So
It's a lovely place.
Yeah.
You got to go there and just get lost in the streets. That's the only way you can do it.
Oh my goodness, it's a lovely place. Yep. Okay, the oddball question, I call it an oddball question because it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with cruising. So you have a large following, and welcome to the many Cruise Monkey fans who are listening. So share one thing that my listeners and your fans don't know about Gavin and Luke.
I've got one. I'll
let you.
We do drink water from time to time.
You're kidding?
Because that might shock them. They might think we go around all day drinking nothing but alcohol. We do drink water. But yeah,
I suppose a lot of people might have noticed that they never see me. Or I'm never in the swimming pools. It's always Luke in the swimming pool, swimming around. So probably one thing people don't really know about me is that I can't swim, which is why I'm never in the swimming pool unless I can just sit in it.
Well, that's a good reason not to be in the swimming pool.
It doesn't worry me being a sea on the ship. Surrounded by sea, that's fine. But
how about you, Luke? What is it that no one knows about you?
I suppose I wouldn't know. As going on from Gavin and his pools, this might sound very, very odd, but I've got this thing where if I don't like swimming in water in the dark, like pitch black. So say I was in a pool, for instance, this is very weird. I can't quite explain it, but if there's like a dark tiles on the floor, I sort of, for some reason, I swim around them. I don't like swimming over the top of them. I'm a bit funny like that. I don't like dark things in water. It just doesn't work. I don't know if it's from being a kid. I think my brother had this submarine toy at one point and he threw it in the bath when we were little kids. And I don't know if it petrified me to the point now that anything black in the water just frightens me. But the princess logo, you swim around. So, yes, I do. I don't like the sea witch in the pools at the bottom. I don't like that. I swim around them as well. That's a bit odd, but that's my little fear. Yeah.
Well, Gavin and Luke, thank you for coming on the Joy of Cruising podcast, and all the best to Cruise Monkeys.
Thank you.
I can't believe I've been such a fan of cruising for all this time, and we've never interacted. So it's been great to meet you guys.
Yes.
And best wishes
thank you on
the. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. Yeah.
Best wishes on the Wave Award.
Thank you.
I have vowed publicly, I have vowed on social media to invite this year's Wave Award winner back on the Joy of Cruising podcast as soon as it's announced in November. So I hope to see you real soon again.
Hopefully, yes, we'd be glad to come back. We'd love to.
All right, guys. As they say, I'll see you on the ocean.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye now.
Cheers. Bye.
The Joy of Cruising and Cruising Interrupted, each $16.99 plus shipping, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again for $18.99 can be ordered at the link on thejoyofcruisingpodcast.com. For each of the 3 books, use the discount code Joy of Cruising Podcast and get $4 off. The Joy of Cruising books are also available at Amazon. Order the ebook at Amazon or your favorite online retailer. Stay in touch by joining the Joy of Cruising Podcast Facebook group or following the Joy of Cruising Podcast on Instagram. We're constantly adding new shows. Please leave a review and tell a friend about us. We hope you enjoyed this brief escape to the ocean. See you next week.